I was elbows deep in feedback sheets from last week's instructor reviews, red pen in one hand, cold coffee in the other, when the landline rang. Not my cell. The old desk phone in the corner that only ever got used for admin calls or emergencies. "This is Julia," I said, eyes still on a note that read, "Too strict on late submissions." "Hi, Julia. It's Marcy from admin. I need to inform you. One of your assistants, Emma Caldwell, she passed away this morning. Motorcycle accident off 23. We just got confirmation." I froze. "Wait, what?" My stomach bottomed out. I glanced up, out the kitchen window, straight into the staff garden. Emma was 10 feet away, chopping onions at the prep table, same denim apron, same messy blonde bun tucked under a gray bandana. She reached up and wiped her eyes with the back of her wrist, then waved at me through the glass. "She's right here," I said into the phone. "I'm literally looking at her right now." There was a pause. "Julia, I need you to step away from her, okay? That's not Emma Caldwell. I'm sending security up now." Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. "Marcy, what the hell are you talking about?" But the line had gone dead. I stared out at her. Her. She looked up again and smiled. Same smile she always gave me when she needed more shallots or wanted to ask about plating garnishes. For a second, I wondered if this was some sick prank, but I felt it in my gut. Something was way off. Less than 5 minutes later, Marcy came through the double doors with 2 security officers, radios already in hand. "Julia, point her out," she said. I didn't move. Emma, or whoever she was, looked up, confused. She took a cautious step toward me. "What's going on?" she asked. "Is everything okay?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah." "Just tell me something." She stopped, waiting. I asked, "What dessert did I make on my first date with Jason?" Her brow furrowed. Then she smiled. "Cherry pie," she said. I shook my head. "It was a lemon tart." Her face changed, just slightly, not panic. Calculation, like she was deciding what to do next. Marcy stepped forward. "We'll take it from here." The woman didn't fight, didn't argue. She just let them lead her out. She never looked back. They had her in a conference room downstairs, the one with the glass wall and broken blinds that never shut all the way. I stood outside, arms crossed, watching her sit there like she still worked for me. Marcy turned to me. "You need to hear this now." I followed her into the admin suite. A guy in a navy suit I'd never seen before introduced himself as Institute Legal and motioned for me to sit. "The real Emma Caldwell is in France," he said, straight-faced. "She never reported for the job?" My mouth opened, but nothing came out. "She was poisoned," Marcy added like it was a weather update. "In Nice. It was slow acting, nearly killed her. French doctors caught it in time." The man in the suit kept going. "The person who's been working with you, she forged Emma's application. We think her real name is Claire, possibly Claire Winslow." I blinked. "Winslow, as in Lorraine Winslow. She's on the board." I leaned forward. "You're saying I've been working side by side with someone's daughter? A fake? For what? 6 months? A year?" 18 months, Marcy said. "She started right after we opened the new test kitchen." My stomach turned. 18 months. Claire had full access, staff passwords, my schedule, private donor information, student files, health and safety logs. She'd prepped every single dish for our donor dinners, touched every signed certificate, shadowed me through 3 audits. She knew the scholarship data. I watched her compile it. She even made the damn slide deck for our last board meeting. I rubbed my face hard, like maybe if I pressed down hard enough, I'd wake up in my own bed. So what now? "Security will handle her," the lawyer said. "You're not under investigation. We're classifying you as a victim." Victim. That word hit me like an insult. "I picked her," I muttered. "She was one of the final 10. I pushed for her." Neither of them said anything. I stood. "I need to go home." No one stopped me. I didn't turn on the lights when I walked through my front door. I just dropped my bag on the floor, went to the kitchen, and leaned against the counter. Same kitchen where she'd helped me test new pastry shells. Same fridge where she'd left sticky notes, reminders, dumb drawings. She'd danced in here once, twirled, barefoot, holding a whisk like a microphone. I thought she was just quirky. Now I saw it for what it was, camouflage. Every moment rewound through my head like a reel of bad tape. Her helping me prep for the alumni gala, her laughing at my playlist during cleanup, Her voice, light and casual, asking for my login, just for a sec. God, she made it easy. I should have seen it. I sat at the small kitchen table and stared at the wall. Pale yellow paint. Same color since I moved in. Looked harmless enough. So did she. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. No contact. No name. You never saw it coming. I froze. I didn't answer. Didn't move. Just stared at the message until my eyes burned. Then I stood up, walked to the front door, and flipped every single deadbolt. Whoever sent that text wanted me rattled. They got what they wanted, but they didn't get fear. They got fury. The slow-building, hard-breathing kind. I wasn't a victim. I was the goddamn target, which meant someone had picked me for this too. The message was right. I never saw it coming. But they sure as hell weren't going to see what was coming next. By morning, my keycard didn't work. I had to wait in the lobby until facilities sent someone to unlock the main hallway. The guy didn't say anything, just waved me through with a look like he'd been warned not to get involved. When I got upstairs, my office door was sealed with a white sticker that read, "Admin hold, do not enter." I stood there for maybe 2 seconds before someone cleared their throat behind me. "Julia, you've been temporarily reassigned." It was Marcy, holding a clipboard, not making eye contact. She pointed to a folding table in the shared workspace down the hall. One chair, no drawers, no monitor. I dropped my bag next to it and sat. Nobody said hi. Nobody asked questions. One guy across the room actually stood up and moved his stuff to another table without a word. I lasted about 20 minutes before Dean Callahan's assistant came to get me. He didn't even pretend to be polite. "Sit," he said, already pacing behind his desk. "Do you understand the position we're in?" I crossed my arms. I'm the one who got infiltrated. I think I do. "We have board members calling, donors asking questions. The Institute's Culinary Trust manages over $8 million. If it turns out we gave open access to a complete fraud, I've already turned over everything," I snapped. "My laptop, my files, all access logs. IT has the records. They'll see what Claire pulled." He stopped pacing. "Is there anything in your past?" he asked slowly. "That might explain why you were targeted?" I stared at him. "What kind of question is that?" "It's a serious one. Think carefully." I said no, straight-faced. But inside, I hesitated, not because I had some dark secret, but because I couldn't shake the thought that someone wanted this to hit me. Not the school. Me. He didn't say anything else, just dismissed me with a nod, like he already had his answer. By Friday, IT had found irregularities in the inventory system. 10 months' worth of supplier orders. Quantities didn't match up with invoices, cost spikes, missing ingredients, inconsistent pricing on kitchen essentials like olive oil, flour, dairy, thousands of dollars off, all digitally approved under my name. Every single one traced back to my login. I was in a back hallway near the staff lockers when Marcy pulled me aside. "They found more," she said, not bothering with greetings. "Your digital signature was used for ordering through a vendor we never contracted with. 3 invoices, all paid." "Claire did that," I said flatly. "She used your password," Marcy shot back. "It says the logins came from your device, your timestamps. She had access. She logged things when I wasn't looking. She even had my phone for a week while it was getting fixed. Remember that?" Marcy's face didn't move. "I've been here 8 years," I said. "I built this kitchen from a storage closet and a busted convection oven. You think I started funneling inventory now?" "I don't know what to think," she muttered. I walked off before she could finish whatever half-assed sentence came next. Back at the folding table, I opened my laptop, stared at the shared files, and counted how many ways Claire could have twisted things while standing right next to me. I'd trusted her with every system, every form. I told myself it was delegation. Turns out it was a damn setup. She hadn't just wrecked my work, she'd buried it in my name. It only took 2 days for them to find the money. $400,000, gone from the Culinary Scholarship Fund, 18 months of transfers, all small enough not to trigger a red flag, but all under my login, my approval, my credentials. I was called into a closed-door meeting with legal, the finance head, and Dean Callahan. No coffee, no chairs pulled out, just a thick folder and a printed summary on the screen. "You signed off on every disbursement," Callahan said. No greeting. "They weren't real disbursements," I snapped. "Claire faked them." "Your login, your IP, your digital key," the finance guy cut in. "This doesn't look like a mistake, Julia. It looks like embezzlement." I laughed. Couldn't help it. Are you kidding me? She was planted. I've been saying that since day one. And now you're acting like I staged a one-woman heist? Legal stayed silent, just flipping pages. We're putting you on administrative leave effective immediately, Callahan said. You'll be escorted out by security. We're not pressing charges, yet, but the board wants full separation while we investigate. I didn't answer. I didn't move. He stood. You can clean out your office next week, supervised. For now, hand over your badge. I handed it to him, walked out with 2 security guys on my heels. I didn't look back. Not at my kitchen, not at the shelves I designed, not at the pastry wall or the spice bins I'd labeled by hand. They'd buried me, and Claire had handed them the shovel. I got home around 6, took my shoes off in the dark, dropped onto the couch, and stared at the ceiling. My inbox was already disabled. I had no school email, no calendar, no access to anything. Just one thing waiting in my personal account. Subject, she's back. Message, the real Emma just got back from France. She wants to talk. No name, no return address. Just that. I sat up fast. That couldn't be a bluff. Who would even notice send that? I grabbed my phone and scrolled until I found the right contact. Kim Wallace. She'd been one of my best students 5 years ago. Smart, resourceful, ruthless when it came to research. Now she worked in food media, writing exposés on restaurant fraud and black market seafood. I texted her one line. Need a favor, tracking someone who just returned from France. Emma Caldwell. Can you help? She replied in 5 minutes. Call me. I did, straight to the point. She was in France for over a year, Kim said. Some kind of recovery leave. Health-related, not much online about her. But I found a customs re-entry. 3 days ago, she's in the States. Where? Kim hesitated. Look, I probably shouldn't be digging like this. Kim, I'm being framed for $400,000. I'm not asking for gossip. I'm asking to survive this. That landed. Okay, got it. She's staying in Connecticut. Small rental property under her cousin's name. I'll send the address. But Julia... What? Be careful. If someone went that far to replace her, they might not want her talking. I was already on the road before she finished sending the pin. It was about 2 hours away. Long drive, mostly highway, windows cracked just enough to let in the late summer air. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, like I expected someone to follow me. I didn't even know who they were yet, but I could feel it. Whoever they were watching their plan fall apart. I pulled into a quiet neighborhood just outside Middletown. Wooded, quiet. The house was small, brick, clean porch, blue shutters, lights on inside. I parked 2 houses down and walked up slow. There was no doorbell, just a plain wooden door with a peephole. I knocked. A shadow moved behind the glass, and then the door opened. She looked nothing like Claire. Paler, thinner, dark circles under her eyes, hair duller than the photo in her file. But it was her, the real Emma. Julia, I nodded once. Yeah. She stepped back. Come in. We have a lot to talk about. And just like that, I walked into the second half of a story I didn't even know I'd been living. I followed her into a dim living room that smelled like chamomile tea and something citrusy. Emma moved slowly, favoring her right leg. Her shoulder blades jutted through her sweatshirt like hangers. Sorry for the mess, she said, even though the place was spotless. I haven't really been up to speed. She motioned to the couch, then sat across from me in a worn recliner, pulling a blanket over her knees. You don't look surprised, she said. I'm past surprise, I told her. I just want answers. She nodded like she understood too well. I was supposed to start at the Institute last July. Everything was set, travel booked, apartment lease signed. Then I got sick. What happened? Stomach pain first, then headaches, fatigue. My hair started thinning out. It got worse fast. French doctors said early onset Parkinson's at first, but one of them dug deeper, ran blood work twice. It wasn't natural. I stared at her. It was deliberate, she said. Arsenic, slow doses. The kind you don't notice unless someone's looking for it. My mouth went dry. Someone poisoned you? She nodded. Started 2 months before I was set to leave. I thought it was stress. No one else caught it, until Dr. Leclerc did. And you think it was someone from the Institute? I know it was. Nobody else had motive or access. I leaned forward. Why would someone go through all that just to stop you from taking a job? Emma looked me straight in the eye. Because they didn't want to stop me. They wanted to replace me. We spent the next hour comparing everything we knew. Emma had been watching from afar. piecing together what she could. Once I realized I'd been replaced, I started tracking who had access to my application, who could have pulled it from the system, who could have inserted someone else without setting off alarms. She stood slowly and grabbed a thin folder from a drawer. Inside were printouts, screenshots, names. I narrowed it to 4 people on the board, all with daughters in their 20s, all with access to internal hiring tools. Only one of them had motive and timing. She tapped the name at the top, Lorraine Winslow. She pushed for expanding the culinary trust, Emma said, spearheaded the vendor partnership, started showing up to internal meetings a month before I was supposed to start, and she has a daughter. Claire, I said. My stomach turned just saying it. Emma nodded. Claire Winslow, age 24, culinary training, short theater background, no online footprint for 2 years, which is how she pulled off the impersonation. I shook my head. I can't believe I didn't see it. She was good, Emma said. That's the scary part. It wasn't just fake resumes and charm. She was trained for this. She knew how to be me. And she didn't act alone. Emma handed me a sheet with IP addresses and login timestamps. She had someone inside feeding her access. This wasn't about her pretending to be a teaching assistant. This was infiltration. I leaned back. So what were they after? Emma didn't blink. Control over the scholarship fund, over vendor contracts, over you. I swallowed hard. She continued, voice sharp now. They needed someone high enough to sign off on things, but not powerful enough to fight back. You were perfect, respected, overworked, trusting. You gave her access to everything. I stood and started pacing. So what now? We've got suspicion, theory, but no hard proof. Emma looked up at me. Then we get it, because I'm done being quiet, and I'm not the only one who wants this exposed. She didn't say it like a victim. She said it like someone who'd waited long enough. I've been thinking, I said, flipping through Emma's notes, about the supplier merger last year, the one with that packaging company, Evercore. It wasn't part of my usual budget review, but I just started poking around before all this exploded. Emma perked up. When exactly? Mid-June, I said. Why? She pulled her blanket tighter. Because mid-June is when Claire started getting sloppy, more visible. That's when someone noticed her login bouncing between IP addresses. 2 weeks later, you asked her the dessert question, and she cracked. She reached for her laptop and opened a spreadsheet. I've been tracking board activity, she said. Only one board member fits all the timing, Lorraine Winslow. She pushed for the Evercore partnership in the first place. She was also the one who pushed to fast-track Claire's hiring after I backed out. She made sure Claire got placed with me, I said, jaw tightening. Emma nodded. She was appointed to the board last year. Quiet, low profile, no big media attention. But she's got money, enough to make people shut up. And you're sure her daughter is Claire? She goes by Clara Winslow on school records. Culinary arts degree, 2 years of theater credits before that. Graduated from a small program in Vermont. I stared at her. Clara, Claire. Jesus, she changed her name, her hair, even her voice, Emma said. But the timeline matches. And here's the kicker. She pulled up another document and turned the screen toward me. My cousin works intake at a private clinic in Darien, she said. Guess who had recurring medical visits there the past 6 months under the name Emma Caldwell? I leaned in. Claire, Emma pointed to another line. And guess who had overlapping appointments every time? Lorraine Winslow. No listed reason, no doctor's notes, just private meetings stamped next to her name. They weren't even hiding it. I ran a hand through my hair. Okay, so we've got the motive, the connection, the fraud, but we still don't have enough to bring it forward. Not yet. I figured you'd say that, Emma said, which is why I didn't stop at the clinic. I raised an eyebrow. What else? She grinned, just barely. I kept all the vendor records Claire submitted while pretending to be me. I made backup copies before I left for France. Just instincts, I guess. Most of them were routed through a dummy contact in Boston. No real address, just a P.O. box. That's where the scholarship money went? Maybe, or where it passed through. But I didn't have access to the financials. I stood up and grabbed my phone. I know someone who does. His name was Joe Rutledge, former corporate auditor turned independent consultant. We'd met 5 years ago when he guest lectured at the Institute about nonprofit fraud. Quiet guy, sharp as hell. If anyone could follow the money trail, It was Joe. I called his number. He picked up on the third ring. Julia? It's urgent, I said. I need you to trace a series of financial transfers through a scholarship fund. It's linked to fake vendor activity. I'll send everything. Are you in trouble? Yeah, I said. But not because I did anything wrong. Because I let someone in who did. There was a pause. Email me what you have. I'll start tonight. I hung up and looked at Emma. We're going to tear this thing apart, piece by piece. She nodded. They buried it deep, but not deep enough. And just like that, we shifted from defense to offense. I got home just after 10. Street was quiet, porch light was still on. But something was off the second I stepped inside. The front door was unlocked. I know I locked it. I double-check everything now. Deadbolt, latch, security chain. I pushed it open and my chest tightened. Drawers were open, couch cushions flipped. My files, every paper I'd brought home from the Institute, were scattered across the floor. Pages torn, some missing. My laptop? Gone. I didn't move. I just stood there, listening. My heart was in my throat. No sounds. Whoever it was, they were already gone. Then my phone rang. Emma. I was just about to call you, I said, voice low. She jumped in first. My cousin at the clinic found something. What is it? Security footage, 3 different timestamps over 2 months. Claire, in disguise, meeting Lorraine in the back hallway. They used the emergency exit. No medical reason for Claire to be there. She wasn't even on the patient list. I sank onto the couch, breathing hard. My place was hit. Laptops gone. Files everywhere. There was a pause. Jesus, you think they're watching us? I think they know we're too close. I met Joe at his office early the next morning. No small talk. I traced the funds, he said, shutting the door behind me. Every transfer from the scholarship account went to vendor accounts that don't exist on any registered list. But guess what they do match? He dropped a printed spreadsheet in front of me. These names? He tapped the top 5. Claire, posing as Emma, entered them into your system. She filed all the digital vendor paperwork. My stomach turned. How much total? 416,000, spaced out in 59 transactions over 18 months. Classic laundering pattern, slow, steady, invisible, unless you know where to look. I stared at the sheet. So they used the merger to hide it? Exactly, Joe said. Evercore's vendor list was bloated on purpose. Lorraine probably looped Claire in to handle the new contacts, knowing full well they weren't real. He pointed to another section. And look here, IP logins for the transfer approvals, cross-referenced with timestamps. Some of them were made from inside the Institute's admin building. Not my office. Nope, he said. One in particular, logged from Lorraine Winslow's own boardroom workstation. My hands clenched the edge of the table. Joe leaned back in his chair. This isn't just an internal scandal. This touches the state. That fund has donor dollars, grant money, even federal aid contributions. If we take this to the wrong people, they'll bury it. So who do we take it to? State Financial Crimes Division. But once you go that route, there's no turning back. They'll try to silence this. I nodded, jaw tight. They already broke into my apartment, took everything they couldn't bury. That tells me one thing. Joe raised an eyebrow. What's that? They're scared. I left his office with a flash drive in my pocket and a choice in front of me. Play it safe or blow it wide open. Emma looked at the flash drive, then back at me. We need more, she said. Something they can't spin or shred. They already hit my apartment. You really think they're gonna just let us poke around now? She smiled, tired but sharp. I still have my login credentials, remember? I was hired, I just never showed up. That flipped a switch. We stayed up until 3 mapping it out. Emma would log into the Institute's system early Monday morning before anyone noticed. I'd create a scene, something loud, something public. A distraction to draw the board's eyes while she pulled internal invoices, approval chains, vendor docs, everything Claire touched. You really want to storm the place? She asked, raising an eyebrow. I nodded. They wanted me quiet. Let's make some noise. Monday, 8:07 a.m. I walked straight into the front lobby like I hadn't been escorted out 2 weeks earlier. Security clocked me instantly. One of them started toward me. I raised my voice, loud, clear. I need a full board meeting, right now. I have evidence of scholarship fund fraud. And I have names. Heads turned. Phones came out. A few admin staff froze mid-step. Dean Callahan emerged from the hallway like someone had set off a fire alarm. Julia, this isn't the way to handle this. It wasn't the way to steal 400 grand either, I shot back. Should I show the press instead? He looked at the security guy and held up a hand. Let her speak. Right on cue, Emma was upstairs in an empty classroom logged in under her real name. Emma Caldwell. Not Claire, not a forgery, the real deal. While Callahan scrambled to calm the crowd, Emma picked through the system like a surgeon. Vendor uploads, internal memos, financial approvals routed through Claire's dummy accounts, and emails. Emails from Lorraine's board address instructing Claire on which transfers to greenlight and when. 7 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Emma. Got it. Exit B, 5 minutes. I stepped back. I've said what I came to say. Let the board know I'll be in touch. With the state. And I walked out. Exit B was the back stairwell near the old storerooms. Emma was already there. Hoodie up, messenger bag over her shoulder. Face pale but steady. We got it all, she said, handing me a second flash drive. Emails, invoices, vendor forms. Proof it all came from Lorraine's office. We didn't waste time. We cut through the lot and headed toward my car parked 2 blocks down. I glanced behind us once. 2 black SUVs pulled away from the curb. I muttered, "Don't look now." Emma didn't. She just said, "How many?" 1 behind, 1 looping the block. We kept walking, fast but not sprinting. Got in the car. I pulled out without hesitation, made 2 quick turns, then 3 more down narrow side streets I knew from years of late-night grocery runs. They're tailing us, I said. Emma reached into her bag and clutched the flash drive like it was a grenade. If they catch us, they'll make it disappear. They won't, I said, gripping the wheel. We're not stopping until this is in the state's hands. We didn't slow down. We didn't look back. And we sure as hell didn't flinch. I took a hard left onto a narrow service road, tires skidding just enough to make Emma grab the door handle. The SUVs stayed with us, silent, steady, too close. They're still there, she said, glancing behind us. One speeding up. I see them. I cut through a grocery store lot, blew through a yellow light, then veered off onto Glenmore, a side street with 2 exits and enough parked cars to block a clear shot. We weaved through, engine humming hard, and finally, I saw one SUV get boxed in at a 4-way stop. The second took the bait and circled back, but it was too late. By the time we hit Interstate 84, we were clear. The state regulatory office sat in a gray building just off Capitol Avenue. No sign, no lobby music, just a scanner, a badge desk, and a serious-faced receptionist who asked us to wait. I have evidence tied to financial crimes involving a nonprofit education trust, I told her. Fraud, identity theft, forged documentation, all of it's on here. I handed over the flash drive. Her eyes flicked to Emma, then to the envelope of screenshots Emma had printed just in case. Wait here. 5 minutes later, we were ushered down a hallway and into a windowless room where a man in a navy tie introduced himself as Investigator Green. No nonsense. Voice like gravel. He plugged in the flash drive, pulled up the files, and said nothing for 10 full minutes. Just scrolled, clicked, cross-checked metadata. When he spoke, his tone was flat but focused. These approvals show altered timestamps, but the original files were created from a second machine, logged to the IP address inside Lorraine Winslow's boardroom office. Emma leaned in, and she's the one who got Claire, her daughter, into the Institute. Green nodded. She sits on the advisory board of Evercore Packaging, the company your school merged with. My throat tightened. The same company tied to the dummy vendor accounts. He looked right at me. And you're saying you didn't approve any of this? Number Claire logged in as me. She used my devices, faked my digital key. I have no reason to funnel money I helped raise. Green stood. This is enough to escalate. We'll bring in financial crime analysts. If what you're saying holds up, this falls under state fraud enforcement. Emma exhaled slowly. I sat back, heart hammering, finally seeing light through the wreckage. A week later, I got the email. Subject: Let's talk. No lawyers. Sender: Lorraine Winslow. It was bait. I knew it. But I also knew we needed the last nail in the coffin. I emailed Green. He approved the wire. They gave me a clip-on recorder the size of a thumb drive and strict instructions. Let her talk, Green said. Get her comfortable. Don't push. Just listen. I met Lorraine at a private dining room in a boutique hotel downtown. Classy, cold, empty. She smiled like we were old friends. Julia, she said, you've had a hard time, haven't you? I have. She poured herself a glass of white wine and got right to it. Let's make this go away. A quiet resolution. We'll call it a misunderstanding, offer a small settlement for the stress, let you walk clean. I stared at her. You want to pay me off? I want to protect the Institute, she said smoothly. You and I both care about that. What about Claire? Her smile didn't move. She did what was necessary. There it was. No denial, no flinch. I didn't say another word. I stood, thanked her for the wine, and left. Green was waiting outside. You got it? He asked. I handed him the recorder. She handed it to me. Good, he said. We're done waiting. 3 days later, Lorraine Winslow was arrested in her driveway. Claire was picked up at a private train platform in Rye, trying to disappear again under a different name. The story broke within 24 hours. It was everywhere. Culinary Digest, Food Philanthropy Weekly, even the homepage of the National Chefs Coalition. Headlines didn't hold back. Board member and daughter charged in $400,000 scholarship theft. Identity theft, fraud, poison, inside a culinary con. The Institute put out a statement that smelled like PR-grade guilt. They called me a trusted veteran educator and said I'd been unjustly compromised by an external actor. Cute wording, considering they'd shoved me out the back door without a second thought. They offered me my job back. I didn't even answer the email. 2 weeks later, I signed a contract with a culinary watchdog group that works with donors, schools, and nonprofits to catch fraud before it gets buried. No classrooms, no red pens, just fire, research, and exposure. Emma got her own kind of justice. She received a settlement from the Institute and another from Evercore's parent company, enough to start what she'd been dreaming of for years, a food justice nonprofit focused on access, education, and ethical food systems. We met for lunch on a Tuesday, quiet spot near the river, no press, just us. She pushed a lemonade across the table. You know what I keep thinking about? She said. How long they thought they had us beat. I grinned. They built an entire system on the idea we wouldn't fight back. They thought we'd stay quiet, she said. They thought wrong, I replied. We clinked glasses. Nothing fancy, no crowd. Just a toast between two women who'd been lied to, used, almost erased, and made damn sure they were the last ones standing. To exposure, to justice, and to being underestimated one last time.